Sorry, I didn't see you there. Of course I didn't see you, I'm just a disembodied voice, but anyways, welcome to the Silent Bard Tavern, our very first episode of our very first campaign. So glad to have you here. You might be wondering, what exactly am I listening to? Well, this is an actual play podcast featuring myself, the Silent Bard, in my team of unprofessional, untalented players. Our sound quality is mediocre, and our acting is okay. You might hear things like
spaghetti
and while we sit around, roll dice, talk in funny voices, and pretend to be people and things that we aren't. Now, before I lose you completely, let's just get right to the show. Have fun and enjoy. On the great Isle of Narvan, between the northern wilds and the Sunderlands, sits the Republic of Talva. Its borders are drawn by the Songbird Ridge along the west and the shores of the Garland Sea which trace its eastern edge. Once a kingdom which stretched beyond the border provinces, its people suffered under the taxing oppression of a deranged monarchy, obsessed with domination. But now, almost 50 years have passed since the signing of the Charter of Liberation, a document written in the blood of a battle spanning 2 days and 3 nights. And the republic which rose from its wake has known a peace some would say is only a pretense. Cobbled together by 9 of the lesser lords who took the palace and now sit as representatives of their respective provinces, Talva's Senate struggles to maintain order as they face threats from both within and without. Sovereigns of the outer provinces which did not join the Republic threatening to expand their borders. Supply shortages caused by piracy on their eastern front. An arms race across all of Narvan spawned by the advancement of new technologies. And, as if none of these were enough, something old stirs in Talva. A lurking shadow and a lingering thought. Whispers of an old magic in Ivergrad, the capital. Whispers like spirits seeping up from a past buried in a shallow grave, chafing against the thin veneer of lies that has masked them from the world. An ethereal chant singing of the phantoms of Talva. Alright guys, welcome to the Phantoms of Talva campaign. I'm your host, the Silent Bard. And I just want to go around and how about we just introduce ourselves? Starting with anyone. Any volunteers?
I'm May. I will be playing Hannah in this game.
Oh, I lost my voice because I have no water near me. Greetings, fellow travelers. The name is whatever you want to tell. Never mind. I'm trying to find my thing and I can't find my thing and it's annoying. Where'd you put my thing? I left it in Texas.
I to start the campaign. Oh, by the way, I need my character sheet.
No, not my character sheet. I had a thing planned that I was gonna say and I lost it. And it's not very nice. Where the heck is it? Cat picture. Anyway, I'll just make something up. Greetings, fellow travelers. You may call me Treasure. And I will be playing Arthur Petrikov. The very smart man, very intelligent, very good looking, all around good guy. You should agree with him, make him your favorite, put him on your shirts, on your cups.
I wouldn't mind a cup with that.
Resident audience?
Exalt. Ear of the observer.
Ah, yes.
The Watcher.
Welcome.
The Watcher, but hearing only.
Alrighty, so let's jump right into this.
Our story begins in the autumn, just months away from the 50th anniversary of Liberation Day, in a town west of Ivergrad, in fertile lands between the Kovik River and the Songbird Ridge. Garash is a small town just south of New Flora in the Hagion province. It sits along the road down to Westbrook, just after the Hollover Wood. All around are acres of farmland, which host a number of crops, the largest of which being a vineyard run by the oldest family in town. Garash proper, however, is merely a crossroads of two cobblestone paths that intersect at the town square in the middle. Little birds chirp as the light of the sun crawls across the sky and warms the eastern face of the tallest building in town, a tower built to house artifacts of the old ways, a museum of magic kept by an estranged wizard. In the square, just outside the doors to the museum, stands a refined young elven girl who's only been in town a couple of days. Hannah, please describe yourself to us.
Hannah is about 5'2". She's got a pale complexion, green eyes, and light brown wavy hair that she currently has up with a little hat on. She's been in town, probably resting from her travels at this point, at the local inn probably.
And what exactly is Hannah doing outside of the museum?
Well, she heard that there is a wizard here, and she's currently hoping to find out if he's willing to take her in as an apprentice.
Okay. So what are you doing?
Well, is it like a public museum, or is it?
So it's big, old oak doors. As far as you know, it's open to the public, or at least that's what you've heard from the innkeeper, which is Natasha Reinkoff.
Who's Natasha? Sorry, I blanked out.
She's the innkeeper.
Oh, okay. You said Natasha Reinkoff.
Yeah.
Let me just write down her name. I'm gonna forget it. Reinkoff. Cough it up, girl. So, she's probably just gonna push on one of the doors, help herself in.
Are the doors open?
You heard the man. Are the doors open? Break them down. If it is day, then the doors shall remain open.
You pretty much would have been there around maybe 7:30.
Alright, so Schmeckelord, is the door open or is it shut?
If the sun is up, the doors are open.
Alright, so she walks in.
Alright, so the doors creak open slowly, and there aren't many windows leading into this part of the museum, so it's fairly dark when compared to outside. And there's a bit of a stench that kind of hits Hannah in the face. You know, that musty smell, sort of wet and damp and old, like stuff that's been sitting under other stuff for a really long time.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, I get
It's
you.
a museum of old stuff. It's a museum of old stuff. And she kind of sees like these glass cases of different things, in the room ahead of her. It's not like a big city museum. This is like you walked in and this floor, it's like maybe 600 square feet of a room with like some cases of different stuff, a bookshelf or two of old weathered books.
She's just gonna kind of walk around, kind of perusing, looking at the different artifacts very slowly, just observing, maybe touching the glass on one and observing how dusty it is on her finger.
Is she looking for anything specific, or she's just like whatever you see?
Well, she's kind of hoping that the wizard person will appear, but in the meantime, she's just looking.
Okay, go ahead and roll me the first roll of the game. Go ahead and
Yay!
roll me a perception.
Oh, that perception. Google, don't fail me. Okay, let's see. Perception. Wait, I can't see it. It's 8. I hate me.
I mean, there's a lot of old stuff in here, and the one item you actually walk up to and tap the glass, it's a long case. It's not very tall, and kind of sitting on like this like velvety silk material is what appears to be a sword, and it's broken, like shattered in several pieces. The largest piece being attached to the hilt, and scribbled on the inscription where this sword is displayed it's something that is a little hard to make out at first, and she has to like rub the nameplate a little bit, and once she does, she could vaguely make out something about a god killer. And just as you're reading that, you suddenly hear something thump from upstairs.
She kind of jumps a little upon hearing it. She looks back at the sword kind of briefly and then looks for the nearest staircase.
So as you look around in this room, there's no staircase in this room. And so it has 2 other entryways that lead to other places. One of which you look, it seems to be like a kitchen area, like a small kitchen area, very thin and long, along the face of one part of the building. And the other entryway you go towards, it seems to be almost like an office space, but no stairs here. And then as you keep looking around, you find another doorway leading out of the museum in a different direction. And once you exit through there, you find the staircase attached to the back of the building.
Is it creaky?
What do you mean, the doorway or the stairs?
The stairs.
There's stone steps around the outside. So the outside of the building is made of stone. The doors were oak.
Right. She walks up the stairs. I'm assuming there's a door at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just knocks lightly with the back of her hand. Says hello.
What is Arthur up to at this time?
Name is Arthur.
Arthur, but Arthur.
Arthur.
Okay.
You're gonna find a lot of people with a lot of weird names. Alright, Hannah Montana.
Hey, it's Arthur.
I would be chronicling, checking my maps to find the next place to find magical items of interest. With information given, with information found, trying to find where magical items might be that I may put them into my museum. And if I hear a knock, does my door have that little porthole? I don't know what those things are called to look outside.
Peephole? Like a...
Oh, that's what it's called!
They are called a people, and yes.
Yes, I want to look up the mini porthole.
A mini portal to your soul.
Yes, I read her mind through the mini portal.
It's empty. Jelly bean.
Alright, so without revealing myself at all, I'd just like to say through the door, just, my dear, this is not part of the museum. What is it that you are doing on this side of the building?
Hello, I'm Hannah Sakrov. I hail from a nomadic tribe. I've come in search of a wizard whom will take me as an apprentice.
You're on search for a wizard. Now, who gave you the information that a wizard was here?
Miss Raincoff at the inn.
Miss Raincoff, you said.
Yes,
But it's very strange that you would give you information quite like this. Stranger to this place. Have you been here long?
few days just resting at the inn. I'm from a nomadic tribe, like I said, so I do get worn out fairly easy.
Well, it's wrong of me to deny someone that's come this far in search of a tutor. Go into the museum and wait for me there. I'll be out when I am ready.
Of course. And she starts to go down to the museum to wait for him.
I'm just gonna dance all the way into the museum.
Alright, so Hannah goes back down to the museum, and Arthur, are you following after her, or is there something more you're doing while you're upstairs?
I'm just gonna get some dance moves, make sure I'm all prepared. I'm just gonna make sure, right before I leave.
You're actually dancing her to
Well, I
warm
was
up.
dancing when I said I was making dance moves. But
Can
I'm
you
just gonna make sure.
can you actually describe your character for us? Please. So that way
Okay.
everybody understands the image that's in my head right now.
Right now? Or when she's able to see me?
Yeah, go ahead right now.
I see. Arthur Petrikov is an owlin, you see. Bit on the taller side compared to most owlins, standing at a respectable 6 foot. I didn't write down the inches on this page. Let's just assume he's around 6 foot for now. And he resembles that of... What are those owls called? Help me out!
Which elves?
The one
The
you...
Eldrin?
The one you said he looks like from... The one you said he looked like from Animal Crossing.
Oh, owl.
Great
You mean
horned
the great-
owl.
Yeah, the great horned owl.
He
I heard
resembles that
elves.
of a great horned... I don't resemble an elf. Them pointy-eared scoundrels. Oh, sorry, the dwarf came out. I resemble that of a great horned owl with the colors reversed, where a great horned owl has brown feathers on the outside and an undercoat of white. My outer coat is white, and my undercoat is brown, leading into black. And I got 2 great wings on my back. They're not arm wings like those weird crow creatures. And on the inside of my wings, I don't know what they're called. All I know is they're weird and they want to be us. They can't be us because they're not us. And then on the inside of the wings, I have like just real sparkly designs of stars. Something to incite wonder into somebody.
So you're a sparkly boy.
Yeah, sparkle.
Only on my wings. On the inside.
You're totally the elf from Animal Crossing.
No!
For real. You are Blathers.
6'4". Standing at a respectable 6'4", which is above the average.
Oh, Blathers is
Which is
taller
above
than
the
I
average.
realized.
What? That's it. Shun her. Send her to the void.
Okay, so Arthur, you head downstairs, or what are you doing upstairs?
Crash through the wall that leads from that room to the museum. No, I'm just kidding. I will go inside. But I'm just gonna wait until she's in there first to leave my area.
Alright, so you peek out the door again and she's gone. And then you crack it open slowly. You look down the stone steps, you see there's no one there. And you tiptoe your way down the steps and walk in through the back door of the museum.
With the Pink Panther noise the whole time.
The whole time.
And now I'm in the inside.
Okay. So Hannah, what are you doing when he comes in?
So Hannah is sitting there looking at the broken sword again, kind of with a sad look on her face.
Like puppy dog sad? Are you disappointed you didn't get chocolate sad?
I'd say it's probably closer to didn't get chocolate sad.
I see. Good visual.
Alright, so you see her staring at that sword. What are you gonna do when you come in?
I slam the case closed and I say, that's not for looking.
I try to walk up behind her with making the least amount of noise.
Being a total creep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go right up behind her. Just like, you come here often?
No, I'm gonna just walk up behind her as quiet as I can and just say, interesting thing. History is, isn't it?
Kind of jumps a little and then turns to you. She's gonna compose herself and say, yes. History, it's fascinating.
Yes, history. Allowing you to see into the past to make better efforts for the future.
She kind of puts her hand on the glass and she's like, yes, of course. And then she looks to you again and she's like, so about that apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's $10.50 for the apprenticeship. But what I was actually going to say is, now, why do you seek an apprenticeship for a mage at all, as a nomad?
Well, firstly, it being so uncommon, it'd be a waste to not develop such a skill. Also, it would provide a good means by which I can support myself. The nomadic life is not really made for me.
So, you wish to become a wizard for your own monetary gain. Why?
So you wanna be a wizard, kid? Whoop-de-doo. I've been around the block before with blockheads just like you.
Yeah, that's right. That's word for word what I said. Nah.
All right, 226.
So you wish to become a wizard for your own monetary gain. What do you wish to sell about being a wizard? A mercenary? Going off in a circus? Why do you wish to learn the ways of the arcane for monetary value?
She kind of pauses, looks down a bit, looks back up at you as she's formulating a thought, and then she says, well, I believe it's a part of me. And again, it'd be a waste not to develop it. Kind of a bonus if it would provide means, but I don't see myself becoming a mercenary or a circus freak for people to point and laugh at. Maybe to help people. Maybe to understand the world or myself. But, I won't bother you. I'll help you with menial tasks if need be. Please, this is important to me that I learn.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check. And this will be a contested persuasion, so if you want to roll insight there, Arthur.
The nat one, he just.
And then that one for a total of what?
The nat one! Total would be
Because who
4.
knows, maybe he'll nat one too.
I got an 18.
Forget it.
An 18 plus first
I'm dead,
insight.
bro.
Yeah, Arthur is staring down at her as she explains this to him. And not only does he not believe that that's her reason, he begins to suspect that she hasn't been completely honest with him from the outset.
We've got a bit of a trickster here, don't we?
What is that voice?
What?
It's ancient British grunt that works for a higher person. You fancy yourself a bit of a hero, don't you?
Alright, so he looks down at her, he begins to suspect she's not being fully honest with him. Maybe there's something else, he's not really sure.
Alright, so I'm just gonna just toss a curveball, see if she can dodge it. So, do you believe that honesty is of the utmost importance?
She kind of crosses her arms, almost looking a little impatient. The world isn't black and white. Truth and lies have their place.
Give me a second. I'm thinking of something cool to say. It's gonna sound epic. None of you are gonna laugh. If you do, I'm gonna cry. It is true that the world is not black and white, but even a color must say its name, so we know what we are painting with.
Character kind of scoffs. Her arms still crossed, and she looks at him again and she says, "Do you want an apprentice or not? Be straight with me, old man."
She says old man, but as she's looking at him, he sounds like his voice sounds older. But she's looking at him and he does not appear to be that old.
Older than her?
I age gracefully for an owl, thank you very much.
From looking at him, she doesn't know that. She can't tell.
I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna be like, "Old man," and then she pauses and says, "Or old bird."
So, you call me old, but you are an elf. Do you know that as an owlin, you will outlive me 100 times?
Kinda does like a laugh. She's like, "What are you trying to say?"
Well, it is known that elves, due to their long lifespan, tend to be on the lazier side, assuming that they can learn all in due time. If you are expected to outlive me, then you must promise, as my apprentice, you will learn and learn fast.
Squints her eyes and puts out her hand. She says, "That's not a problem." She puts out her hand to like shake.
You
On it.
nasty, smack it away. I'll shake it back. It's my little talony claws.
Wait, is it like your foot or your hand?
Owlins have claws on both hands and feet. I don't got shoes on. My pants end, and then it goes down to my talons. And then my hands are also just the 5-fingered claws of death.
5-finger discount.
I believe I said that. I shake her hand.
So she very subtly wipes the hand on the back pocket, on her back pocket, so they're
Rick.
kind of like out of view. And she says, "So about my accommodations." And she looks around and she's like, "I would assume you don't have any extra room here."
Yeah, you'll be sleeping on a bookshelf. It is true, I have no extra room to spare for you. But if I were to pay you, you could find room and board at the inn nearby. With whatever her name was that I forgot. I forgot to write down the barkeep's name.
Her name is Natasha. Natasha Reinkoff.
Natashi. Rhino cough. There we go.
So how much would I be expecting to receive as far as payment then?
Yeah, I got nothing on my person. I'm poor right now.
I dare you to respond experience.
Yes,
I'm gonna do that.
Exposure.
exposure.
You will be awarded in exposure and experience along our journey. You will get many great followers on your TikTok account, as the kids say.
I don't know what to say. I say that we'll be exploring stuff, and then we'll sell the stuff, and then she'll get a portion of the stuff we sell.
Commission. That's the word you're looking for.
Oh! We will be commissioning some people to go into homes and steal things.
Oh my god, no. That is not what I said.
Alright, so... I'm trying to think of what to say, because, like I said, I'm poor. I don't know what to give her.
Yeah, so I'll say this. The museum gets paid from the taxes in town. So you don't get a whole lot, but you do get a specific allotted amount. And you know that you could probably finagle a bit more funds out of the mayor.
You should respond to me saying, your pay, and then like pause and just be like, why don't we go talk to the mayor about your pay?
Your pay will be determined on how much skill you show me. But as of right now, opening my little coin purse or whatever it is that I got, and just shake it out, showing that it's empty. I'm a little low on funds. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Stick my hand into the coin purse, whatever I have. Use prestidigitation, pull out a gold coin. She's like, would you look at that? Magic. And just dissipate it and just like, no, it is true. Nothing of value right now. But the city does supply me with coin now and again.
She kind of shakes her head and she's like, well, don't worry, I'll be okay for now. But yes, whenever you receive your funds, I do expect you to have honesty and provide me with the appropriate pay.
But isn't knowledge worth its weight in gold? Which is weightless.
That's why wizards have to pay for their spells.
Johnny?
I'm gonna use that at some point. So after she says that she'll accept the payment once I have money to pay her with, I'm going to signal for her to follow along to show off all of the things in the museum.
And what things are you showing her?
The Harry Potter Don't Sue Us wand. No, just the things I have in the glass cases. Dragon head.
So you show her the dragon head?
And the things in the glass cases. Explaining to her the magic inside. Wow, wow, wow.
She's amazed by the magic inside. Wow, wow, wow.
Alright, so as you're showing her different stuff throughout the museum, she sees the sword again, she sees the dragon skull, and then you come by a particularly large book that you got recently. It's not in a glass case, it's sitting on one of those, that hold the book open. It's not quite a podium, it's like a metal rack. And it's got this leather. It seems old, but it's not particularly weathered. It has a very intricate pattern on it. And although Arthur has no idea how to read the inscription that's on the cover, Hannah, you instantly recognize this writing on the cover. You instantly know what this book is. You've seen this book before. And as you're approaching it, you begin to hear faint, disembodied voices that are just calling out to you from a distant plane, and a sort of panic begins to set in, but also something familiar, something comforting. And then all of a sudden, that moment is just dissipated by the sound of Archer's voice as he begins to move on from the book.
She's taking a mental note of that book. Yeah, do I know what it says in the cover?
On the cover, it has an inscription. It's something to the effect of the Cree family secrets. This is a book about the royal family and the powers they held. This clearly came from the capital and the aftermath of Liberation Day.
So, actually, as Archer is walking away, she kind of stops and looks at the book, and like realizing what it says and what it is, she kind of says, "Excuse me, I seem to have gotten lost in thought. What's this book? Where did it come from? I'm sorry."
Why, you trying to steal my book? You trying to steal it? Trying to rob
What?
it? Trying to sell it? Just stopping my very gracious tour that would have cost the normal person 10 silver coins. Turn back, observe the book. A book that I've received recently that I cannot read. How did I come by it? You said I've had it recently.
Recently to Archer can mean a lot of things. This particular book has been in your possession for almost 50 years now.
So my guess is that you like to read?
My character just can't say that it hasn't been a pastime on the road. We don't have many books to access out in the wild, but when we would come across a town, I would try to find one.
Well, this particular book has been in the museum's possession for some time. Though I cannot read it, it is of historical value, so it remains here to be viewed.
I don't know, it seems a little odd to have something in your possession that you don't seem to understand. But it's your museum. And she kind of waves it off and starts walking towards you.
I'm just gonna stop her right there, just like, so, why did you take an interest in this book? You stopped the tour to point out this book.
Well, it's in a strange language. No particular reason. Like I said, I got lost in thought. Kind of missed the details.
Okay, so as you guys are having this conversation over the book, it's been maybe about 30 minutes since you've met, and just outside you guys are beginning to hear a commotion form in the town square. You hear the sound of horses and wagon wheels. You hear loud chatter and laughter and excitement coming from outside in the town square.
But I know about something that happens often that would incite laughter.
Go ahead and roll me a quick history check. See if you remember what's going on.
Joke's on you, his intelligence is my best.
That's a surprise.
Alright, so now it costs you money to be my apprentice? 22.
22.
Yes.
Archer immediately remembers that a contingent of local soldiers was returning to town today, including, but not limited to, the quote-unquote Prince of Garrosh, the eldest son of the Garrosh family, Boris.
Boris Jimmy Dean Garage? Alright, then I'll stop the tour there.
I have a question.
What's up?
What does my character know about this Prince of Garage?
Nobody said this name yet, so you don't know anything. He just knows this. If he chooses to say it out loud, then you could roll something for it.
I'm not. I wasn't gonna anyway. I was gonna say, like I said before, I'm gonna stop the tour. I'm just like, it seems it is a good time to go and greet the soldiers. The tour will resume once I have welcomed them home.
My character, she's kind of walking behind him. Kind of directly behind him so as to not be seen. Not like she's just trying to sneak, but she's just kind of purposely positioning herself behind him in a way that, you might not really notice her.
Just gonna kind of flutter my wings more out, just to try to hide her more. Just like, alright, I'm gonna stand behind there. Might as well do it good. I push on my wings a little more.
So you both go outside?
Yeesh.
Yeah.
And you're blinded by the light.
Blinded by the light. Dang it, now you listen to that. Blinded by the light.
Alright. So when you guys walk out of the museum, the first thing that greets you is just this massive crowd of people. More people than Hannah assumed was in the town. It seems that everyone came in just to greet the soldiers as they come in, and there's various wagons around. The soldiers are wearing double-breasted coats with a gray color and blue trim, with some of them wearing like a plate mail breastplate. Most of them seem to have already started to take off their uniforms. They appear to be here for like some kind of leave, like they just came back from a tour on some patrol somewhere, and they've all returned home for this season, and most of them are carrying a rifle. And Arter spots across the way a rather large wagon with probably the most joyous people in town. You do see the Garage family greeting their son Bors, who he's a half-elf, about 5'9", with sort of messy brown hair, and he appears to be a very cheerful person on the younger side. Unlike the other soldiers, he is wearing full plate mail strapped to his back. He has this ridiculously large, like anime-style sword, which seems too large for anyone to carry skillfully. And he's just there, like, waving at the people, just like a prince would in a parade of some kind.
Is there a concession stand with corn dogs?
No. You do, however, see by him and them the town leadership, and for Arter in particular, you begin to recognize specific faces in the crowd. Faces that Hannah wouldn't know because she's only been there for a few days. But you notice the mayor, Bree. She's very thin and on the older side. You notice the captain of the guard, who is an older elven man with like some darker skin tones and reddish hair. And you also notice the local magistrate, who is a younger human. His name is Heinz Cloud, and he's on the younger side as opposed to the mayor and the captain of the guard. He seems to be in his early 30s, I would say, and he's got dark brown hair, but light skin and blue eyes.
And help but notice, none of these are dwarves.
As you look, you do notice it is predominantly either elf or human. In fact, it is so predominantly elf or human. You do see the one person who sticks out in this crowd full of elves and humans, who is a half-orc named Gunther the Stern, who happens to be the local tax collector, but he's kind of like off to the side by himself.
Orc, point and stare.
What do you guys do now that you exit the museum?
My character is just following his character.
You're following me? Wow, this makes this awkward. Hey, how tall is the building?
Which building?
My museum.
It is 3 stories tall.
He wants to perch.
Never mind. Yeah, that's my exact idea. I was gonna perch.
I'm sure there's like a ledge somewhere you could perch on.
Can
the
I just
building.
hover?
Yeah, I mean, there's the balcony you could have.
Oh no, balconies for people. I need to perch. But if not, I'm just gonna fly up and just applaud everybody as they're going past.
You could also be a total weirdo and perch on the corner of a building for no reason.
On Hannah's head.
No. I draw the line as an apprentice.
I'm just gonna just fly up and go decent like 20 feet and just like keep myself around that 20 feet area, applauding everybody as they're going past.
Yeah, my character, realizing you left, kind of awkwardly shifts and looks around, tips her hat as if to hide her face with it somehow, and then walks towards the inn.
Okay, so when Archer takes off, some people kind of look up. Most of the soldiers, actually all of them, everybody in town knows Archer. He's been here forever. Nobody questions that. They're just like, oh, he finally came out. But everyone's pretty distracted by just seeing their loved ones again. Meanwhile, absolutely no one is paying attention to Hannah
Good.
as she goes towards the end.
That's what I like to hear.
Okay. And Arter, what are you doing? You're just flying over
I'm
everyone?
cheering for their return. I'm gonna use prestidigitation. Make one of those bugle horns, whatever they're called. And just, welcome back, brave knights. Are they knights? Soldiers.
Yeah. Nobody's really knighted anymore. Here.
Well, I remembered they're wearing armor, then I remembered they had a gun. Brave soldiers, welcome back.
And as you're flying about, you do notice amongst all the joyous people, there seem to be some disgruntled folks, including the captain of the guard, but also some other soldiers that seem to be here that aren't from here. He died.
Hang on, I'm taking notes. Don't worry, I type fast. Alright, so I have 3 paragraphs. Is that good to turn in?
Yes. I'll quiz you on it later.
Okay. Are the people that don't seem from here, they're still elven or human?
They're still elven. They're soldiers that have been posted here, and not all of them are from here. Some of them you've seen in the last couple months. You know from the little you've talked to the various soldiers, they get put on like a rotation away from home just to kind of guard the borders.
Yes.
They're posted to guard borders. They're basically function as a standing army that doesn't really get sent out anywhere. Their main function is the national defense and to keep like order and stuff like that.
So they can't sit? So I see a captain of the guard just sitting there, all pouty faced. So I guess I'll go and land as close as I can to him without landing on him. Kind of with a thud, so it just freaks him out. And just make myself look tall and big. I just say to him, "It is a momentous occasion to see everyone return healthy, is it not?"
He kind of like grunts at you. You know the captain of the guard here. He seems to be always in a mood.
Mood.
But today he has a particular face on, and you know that any officer in this army tends to have less leave time, so he's actually here quite often and for long periods of time. And he's Captain York, as he's known. Again, he's on the older side, so he doesn't have quite wrinkles, but you could tell his skin is weathered with cares and anxiety. And he looks up at you kind of like with a side eye, not even fully giving you his attention. It's a bombastic side eye. Momentous, yes. More soldiers off the front line. More troubles coming in. They celebrate today, tomorrow. They weep.
I was about to bully this man, but I'm not gonna. Grab him in a chokehold, fly up. Oh, got him from the top ring! Got him on the RKO! Ah!
Okay.
I just want to say, they weep tomorrow, you say? And what would the soldiers have to weep about?
You see at this point, the mayor is kind of looking over at you two, and she's giving Captain York the nastiest. I mean, just pure angst look. And then she looks over at Arter and she's like smiles a bit, you know, kind of like the, oh, I'm being watched smile. And then she clears her throat. What the captain means is that we have many, many cares and not enough soldiers. But it is good for them to celebrate, yes? Morale makes better than numbers.
Ah, I do understand.
The captain kind of grunts like, "Ugh."
Then I just want to end off just like, then I shall leave you to your business, madam, and I was gonna say his name, but I forgot his name already. Captain
York.
Short?
York.
Oh, York. I heard short. See you later, Captain Shorty!
Captain Shorty Pants.
I'll just tip my top hat.
As you go to leave, the mayor kind of like bows her head slightly and then glances angrily at York, and York just like rolls his eyes and then looks over at you and he's like, see you later.
I'm gonna watch the rest of the celebration, occasionally glancing back at Captain Shorty and the guards that seem to be not from here. Just watching from a distance. They know I'm old and weird. They won't question it. So I'm just gonna say if I want to perch somewhere, and if that's the balcony, then I want to be on the railing of the balcony and on the balcony.
So you fly back up over to your museum and you just sit on the railing.
Yeah.
Just watching everyone.
Yeah. Sat how you would, like, on a chair. I'm not up there like a gargoyle. I just don't believe in balconies.
Alright, so Hannah, where exactly in the inn did you go? When you came inside, there actually wasn't anybody in the inn at the moment. Because everybody that is extra here, or according to you, extra, actually belongs in this town. They're returning home from their tour.
If there's not like a bunch of people in there, I'd probably just sit at a table.
Alright. So as you're sitting there, like I mentioned, not many of the soldiers have come in here. You might see a few of the older folk from town that don't really do much all day because they're kind of past the age where it's okay for them to be working out in the field without dying. And
kind of behind the bar and around, you just see Natasha herself. She's just running around doing a few things here and there. Typical inn owner stuff. She's maybe in her mid-40s. She's got bright red hair that curls, and right now it's held back in a ponytail. She's wearing very earth tone colors, a button-down shirt that has kind of like a poof in the shoulders. She has high-waisted pants that kind of have a similar poofiness to them. I don't know what the term is because I'm not a fashion guy. But you know what I mean.
Like a puffy sleeve.
She's wearing those pants that, like, just after the waist as it gets to the thigh, like, the pants begin to become baggier until they tighten up around the drawstring that's, like, just below the knees.
Yeah, I get you.
And presently, she's standing back there, looking over some books, not really paying attention to what's going on. And when you come in, she looks up at you, acknowledges you, but then goes back to looking at her ledger.
She would probably just find a table off against the wall or in a corner, and she'd probably just start playing with her lute. Not like full on playing it, but like maybe tuning the strings or plucking at a few strings, just quietly to herself.
Okay, and as you're doing that, one of the older gentlemen, who seems to almost be like a resident here, he's also human. He's got like the cul-de-sac balding thing happening, a lot of liver spots all over his head with graying hairs, and his jaw and chin kind of jut out further than his nose. And he's just like staring at you, smacking his lips, and like bobbing a little, even though you're not playing like any real tune. He's just like, yeah, I haven't heard anything this good in a while, kind of thing.
Pepper spray! Pepper spray!
Smacking his lips. Ooh, a snack. Sorry. Does she notice him?
Yeah, he's not hiding from her.
I don't know if she's like paying attention.
That's a pretty good tune you got there, young lady. Where do you learn it?
She kind of looks up a little surprised, and she's like, oh, I've just been playing over the years. And then she kind of holds it a little more to play something. She's like, any song requests?
You know, back in my day, there was a pretty popular tune that we used to dance to.
And then he kind of like looks around a bit with like a devious face and leans in closer to you. And not so much in a whisper because he's like half the room away from you.
But, you know, that kind of music has been banned.
She kind of, her ears perk up a little, and she's like, oh? Music's been banned. Would I know this, actually?
Go ahead and roll me a history check.
Okay, let's see. How are we going to do today? Gaga, as usual. Alright, 7.
You feel like you've been outside of the nation too long to know what he's referring to, what kind of music, and it kind of leaves you a bit at a loss, but like you kind of have a feeling he's maybe talking about something provocative, but you're not sure.
She kind of like looks away for a moment and rubs her chin. She's like, I can't say I'm familiar with any forbidden tunes, but I might have something up my sleeve. So she's just gonna play him like a regular jazzy tune, something that she thinks, since she's under the mindset that it's provocative, just something a little A little spicy, but not provocative.
He looks a little taken aback at first, like that was not what he was expecting to be played. But then he just like bobs his head a bit, and then Natasha looks up from her ledger, and like she raises a brow, like, what in the world is happening over here? But just continues to look back at what she's doing. And then as you're playing, eventually, the old man is like,
That's pretty good. Not exactly what I was thinking, but still good, still good. Yeah, they played that back in my day. Maybe that would be song number 1.
She doesn't really know what to say, so she's like, she just laughs it off, and then she kind of awkwardly continues, like, just strumming, like, background music, just hanging out, just waiting for the crowds to die out outside before she heads back out.
So why are you not outside greeting soldiers?
She shrugs her shoulders. She's like, I don't really have anyone to greet.
Oh, so you're just passing through town?
She nods her head. Sort of.
Oh, that sounds sad. Are you heading anywhere specific?
She kind of shrugs her shoulders. She's like, I'm just taking it day by day right now. And then she stops. It's like, what about you? Why aren't you greeting the soldiers?
I am not outside because, well, why am I not outside?
he starts to like scratch his head, like he forgot why he was there. And then
He's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because I'm working today. Here at the inn. Very special job.
and then Natasha like looks up again. Loitering is not a job.
Dad.
And he does like that hand wave, like, shut up.
The character's just sitting there smiling at the interaction. But she's just continuing on. She's like, is there anybody you're excited to see then after you get off work?
Oh, perhaps I see my grandson today.
Your grandson? What's his name?
He's a very special soldier. His name is Bors. Big fellow. We've seen him.
My character kind of looks away for a minute, and she's like, oh yeah, I saw him. It's like, he looks good. Looks good. Healthy.
Oh, his eyebrows gonna like raise as you say he looks good.
Do you want meeting?
And then she puts up her hands. She's like, oh, no. It's not what I meant. I mean, not that he's not a good looking guy. I'm not interested like that.
Oh, well, if you ever want to settle in place, you talk to me, and I will introduce you to him.
And he kind of like chuckles, knowing that it's somewhat of a joke, but just in a way where it's like, is he joking or is he being serious right now?
And my character does like an awkward laugh, like, ah, and she continues on doing her thing.
And then eventually Natasha butts in and she's like, Dmitri, please stop patronizing my patron. Listen, young lady. Do not mind him. You may stand here if you wish. The soldiers are quite rowdy anyways, but you should know, eventually they will come in here.
My character kind of is like, yeah. And then her ears perk up again. She's like, oh, by the way, Miss Rankoff.
Yes.
So she goes, oh, by the way, Miss Rankoff, I was thinking I might need a place to stay a little more on the long-term side. I might be getting a job here in town. I wasn't sure how long you'd allow me to stay here, or if maybe I should find some other place to reside in the town.
She kind of sizes you up and down for a bit. You do not look like a woman who can work in the field.
Oh, well, I got a job working with Arthur at the museum.
With Arthur? That strange old man?
Kind of nods her head, laughs a little, like, yeah, he is a bit strange.
Well, I suppose, but he pays?
And she laughs again, and she's like, he better.
For your sake, I hope so, because I do not give room for free. But, I'll tell you what. You seem like a nice girl. If Arthur does not pay you enough, you can perform here a night or two, entertain my guests, and I will leave you with room.
My character looks at her like amazed, and she's like, that's a great idea. She's like, agreed. Absolutely.
Wonderful. And she goes back to what she's doing, and the old man, Dimitri, you see he's like slowly shaking his way over towards the door. Just as he begins to reach the door outside, Arthur, you could see the people are starting to sort of settle. Some of the people are just going straight home with their loved ones, but some of the other soldiers, the younger ones, are beginning to kind of group up together and make their way into the roadside inn. And you could see the mayor and the captain of the guard and the magistrate kind of disperse from each other and go their separate ways, but there was like a brief interaction amongst them that didn't seem very pleasant.
You said everyone was talking amongst themselves with their moodiness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just take a mental record of whoever is talking, especially the captain and the mayor, you said?
The two that you had already spoken to, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to see which way. Do they split up or walk together where they're going?
The mayor seems to go towards the roadside inn, while the captain of the guard just heads back to town hall.
Then I'm going to follow the mayor. Just straight following. I'm not going to hide that I'm not going to like make it obvious that I'm following.
You're gonna like descend from the heavens.
Yeah, it's the roadside inn. Like I can go there too.
Yeah.
It's like, you're following me? Ma'am, you're in the line for McDonald's.
Oh man. Okay. So you walk into the bar.
See a hooded figure in the corner.
Meeting at the tavern. Okay. So, Hannah, you begin to see a bunch of young soldiers just piling up inside of the inn, and then eventually you see the mayor come in, and then shortly after you see Arthur follows inside as well. And the mayor goes straight for where the bar is at, while most of the soldiers kind of like take up a lot of the tables, or just standing around or leaning against walls, and like some of them begin to even chant and sing, while others are just laughing. There's maybe a couple of guys in the corner arm wrestling. Others are playing cards, throwing dice with no money to gamble, all that kind of stuff. And you see Natasha, who was just looking down at her ledger, the moment a bunch of people just start piling in, she just goes to attention. Like she's just immediately zipping back and forth, getting drinks out, pitchers, pints, all kinds of stuff, even to the point where some of the people she allows to just come right up to the barrel and pour themselves a drink.
When my character sees Arthur walk in, she's gonna put her hand up, almost like, I'm here if you want to sit here kind of thing. But she's gonna just keep sitting at the table with her feet up on another chair. She's just in a really relaxed mood. But she's also like listening to the conversations around her.
I'll go and sit at her table and making sure where the mayor's going.
Mayor went to the bar.
I'm making sure she's not going anywhere. I'm an owl. My head's just locked on her the whole time.
You're like walking. You're walking towards Hannah's table, but your head is facing backwards. Like
Bumps into the table.
Nothing weird here.
I'm not actually doing the owl head swivel. I'm just walking through a table, and then when I sit down, I kind of just do like the edgy, brooding, sit down. No, I'm just kidding. Where I'm just now making it obvious that I'm looking in her direction.
Character's gonna notice and she'll be like, "What are you looking at? Are you into her or something?"
Oh my god, Becky, stop.
No, the coughs, they overcome. I am dying. No, I am just viewing her because she seems suspicious as the return of the soldiers earlier.
She kind of takes her feet off the chair and leans in closer to you over the table, and she's like, "Ooh, what do you mean?"
Well, okay, I open up my jacket. I got chamomile, I got English breakfast.
Everything you stole from a hotel in a bigger town.
Oh my gosh.
You have the little Keurig cups.
Got the hotel soaps.
I got decaf.
But what was the question again? I already forgot. I'm thinking about tea now.
She wants to know what she did. She was like, "Oh, what happened?" kind of thing. What'd she do?
Oh, okay. I will answer your question with a question. If your family was to set off on a dangerous journey, and after a long while without seeing them, they return, would you be happy or sad?
My character sits back a little disappointed. She's like, "Well, happy, of course."
That's the thing. When the soldiers, when they were coming back, the captain of the guard seemed bothered by them returning safe. And I think the mayor has something to do with it as well. She kept his mouth shut right before they split paths.
Well, what does that matter to you?
Well, my dear, this town is filled with soldiers that aren't from here. All of them seemingly angered by the return of the soldiers that are from here. The captain of the guard, aggravated that his soldiers have come home safe. The mayor of the town, trying to keep the captain of the guard silent about these affairs. So I suspect they are up to something.
So you want to look into it?
It would be against my better judgment not to at least look at the surface of this issue.
So, while you guys are going on about this, the doors open up and the room partly goes quiet as a small contingent of soldiers that you don't recognize at all, Arthur, comes into the room. Their uniform is still neatly worn. They each have a rifle at their side, and it's almost immediately evident by the sort of look you see on the other soldiers' faces that these soldiers are posted here. There's sort of like a curiosity mingled with a sense of empathy and sadness as they look at them. They're not angry or put off by these other soldiers. They're just understanding, like, hey, you're stuck here and I'm sorry.
Okay.
And there's 3 of them.
Yes.
One of them is an older elven man, probably well advanced into his years, so much so that his hair is got a salt and pepper thing going on, and his skin seems a little on the weathered side, and it's got a light tone to it. His eyes are brown. Another one is a drow woman.
Drow in the sun.
She's got short white hair, and she seems to be the youngest in the group, and she's looking around constantly with suspicious eyes. And the third one is a human man who's probably, from the looks of him, in his early 40s. He has black hair with the white streaks on the side. Unlike the others, he's not carrying a rifle, and his uniform seems to be a little bit different, almost resembling that of an officer's.
Mm-hmm.
And his facial hair is shaved down to just a mustache.
Mustachio.
Sounds like a band of adventurers.
So I may have missed this part, but they walked in, and then what are they doing?
They're just coming in and looking for a table to sit down at.
All right.
And everyone kind of like stops to look at them, gets quiet for a bit, and then the noise picks back up again.
I'm gonna put my feet back up on that chair to prevent anyone from sitting in it.
I'm gonna do the same. And I'm just gonna same chair. I'm be like, look, strange danger, 12 o'clock.
So my character's gonna look back at Arthur and be like, so what's the plan?
You throw a bottle at their head, and I run out the window.
I meant about the suspicions you're having.
Did you just say your plan was to throw a bottle at people and run out the window? What the heck?
That's my plan for every social engagement.
So we throw the bottle. So we light the bathroom on fire.
I'm gonna start using that.
It's just realized, sorry. So
So I'm just gonna whisper to her about the plan. It is also seemingly escalated. Those people are not from here.
As you're looking at them and talking about this, the older man, the one that has like the salt and pepper hair, that elf, he eventually turns his head as he's like sort of scanning the room. He turns his head and he looks right at Hannah. And like just stares at her for like a good couple seconds and then just continues to pan around the room before he finds a spot to sit down.
question.
What's up?
That dude that stared at me, did he look familiar to me at all?
Ho, ho, ho. Now we are asking the questions.
My brain is speaking in Russian now.
You can go ahead and roll me a straight check.
Will she come to a sudden realization?
Let us find out, Google. Don't fail me now. Pom, 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 pom. It failed me. It's gonna be 9.
Oh man, Google answered you in German. Do you know this guy? 9!
You failed me, Google. Your character's internally screaming. She's like, she's just like trying to look casual, but sweat is like coming down her face. She's just like, act natural, act natural, act natural.
It's just while she's making like a awkward face, and she's like, "What? If I got something in my feathers?"
So, Arthur, there's nothing else. I think I'm going to take a stroll around the town.
Odd time for a stroll. You've just arrived. You've had nothing at your table.
Oh, well, I suppose. And she sits down. Are you going to treat me to a meal?
You've forgotten. I'm gonna get the coin purse and just shake it upside down again.
She laughs and she's like, oh, don't worry. I'll treat my boss. And so she kind of signals for Natasha or whoever's serving to come.
You see Natasha at that moment was talking to the mayor. When she catches your wave, she says a few more things in exchange with the mayor and then comes over. He's how can I help you?
You could get some food and refreshments for me and my boss here.
Would you both like some ale? Meats? We have some stale bread, I'm sorry. And she looks over at Arthur when she says that.
The character looks at Arthur.
And I'm just gonna... Oh, no need to worry about the stale bread. I believe my imagination can help me wonders with that. I'm just gonna press to digitate just a slice of bread in front of me. She's like, delicious, but not nutritious.
And she looks back at Hannah. So just for you then.
Order something for both of us. Stale bread is fine. Do you have anything to dip it in?
I have some soup I made yesterday.
Sounds good. And I don't need any ale. Do you want ale?
No, I'll do without the wine.
And I just give some coin to Natasha for it.
Thank you. And then she pockets it in her apron and then walks away.
How much was it?
It would have been 5 silver.
5 silver. Okay, hold on. How many gold is a silver? I mean, how many silver is a gold?
10 silver for gold.
Alright, good.
So she goes, she gets some stuff ready. And at this point, you do notice Arthur the mayor is looking over at you now. And she begins to stand up and walk towards you guys' table.
I'm going to reemphasize my feet are on the other chair still.
How many chairs this table got?
Usually there's about 5 or 6 chairs per table. This is the only inn/tavern in the whole town, so it kind of needs to house a lot of people when people come to drink.
Alright, so would you say there's 5 chairs at this table?
Probably, yeah.
So I'm gonna put my feet up on the chair that she isn't putting her feet up on. And with the last standing chair, I'm gonna prestidigitate. I don't know, like a pie. Something inconvenient to move.
What in the world?
She ain't sitting down. This is a private conversation, woman.
Alright, so the mayor comes over, and she sees this odd display of you guys trying to sprawl yourselves out over all the chairs around this table.
I can understand that you wouldn't want any soldiers here, Arthur. But me?
And she, puts her hand to her chest and has kind of like this, I can't believe you. Flabbergasted face.
Oh, I must be still like this. Helps with the back pain. And,
I did not know that your back was in pain. It's one.
yeah, it's been ruined because I haven't been stretching my wings as often as I should have.
Such a shame.
Now, what is it that you needed? I am having a very important business meeting with my newest associate.
Well, and she kind of eyes Hannah for a second and then looks back at you.
It is about the discussion from earlier with the captain. Do not mind what he's saying. He is just a grump from having to be posted here. He thinks that our armies are better suited fighting some war, as if we were still run by a king.
Can I insight check?
Yeah, you can insight check her.
Yeah. Heck yeah, 15.
She seems pretty genuine, this is...
Frig, man, the one time I roll well.
She legitimately seems like she is telling the truth and not trying to paint any kind of different picture, but you do get a sense that she is hiding something.
Oh, for sure. I'm on to you. So my character sits up. She goes, I'm sorry, what was your name?
She kind of clears her throat and stands upright and looks at you, and she's like,
Oh, my apologies. I have not introduced myself to you. You are a newcomer in our town, yes? I am Mayor Bree. Carla Bree.
And she kind of gives a slight bow of her head.
You said Mayor Briggy?
Mayor Bree.
B-R-E-E?
It's B-R-I, but yeah.
Okay. And my character nods and she goes, It's a pleasure. I'm Hannah.
It is nice to have you in our town. Are you...
And she kind of looks around nervously for a second.
Are you staying long?
My character shrugs and she's like, maybe.
Oh,
and she looks over at Arthur and back at Hannah.
Are you going to be working with our resident wizard?
She nods. She's like, yeah.
Oh, good. So, you're talented with magic then, yes? This is a rare gift.
My character kind of does a nervous smile and she's like, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't, if you're okay with it, maybe not mentioning that part. I've just been telling people I'm working with him, but I'd rather not publicize my magic abilities, if it's alright with you.
Oh, that is completely understandable, my dear. It is fine. Just know you are welcome in this town just as much as Arthur is. In fact, I think Arthur has been here longer than the town, no?
Character looks at Arthur kind of shocked.
So, that little thing I told you about elves outliving owlins? Well, I am a rare breed of owlin that actually outlive elves. It was just a little test of your honesty and to see if you would work hard.
Character's like, huh.
Alright, right. So if you are working with him, then I guess you are expecting him to pay you, no?
My character nods at some point.
You did not come to ask me, Arthur, if you could take on an apprentice for pay. You know that requires approval, and we have a very tight budget around here.
I had the thought, but it slipped me at some point. Besides, just gonna push in the chair so she doesn't see just the pie randomly disappear. Like one hand pushing in the chair and the other one just like going behind her ear. Just prestidigitate platinum coin. It seems I have all the payment I need right here. And then do the little wizard trick where it's like, oh, it's gone. It's like, oh, would you look at that? Money. So easily come by, so easily it's gone.
She's just like nodding, like, wow, what wise words.
The mayor's kind of like putting her hand to like her mouth and like gives like a little giggle.
You are so interesting, Arthur.
That's why they call me the Riz Word. No, that failed horribly. The Wizard of Oz.
Rizward!
I don't actually say that.
Well, and then she looks at Hannah. If you do need any work, feel free to come by my office. I'm sure that we can find something for you in case this very wealthy wizard cannot pay you.
My character kind of sits back and she's like, oh, don't worry about me. I'm used to taking care of myself.
Very well then. Pleasure again to meet you, Hannah. What did you say your last name was?
Sakrav.
Sakrav. I have not come across that family name before.
I hail from a nomadic tribe. We never stayed in any particular place.
Oh, nomad, so you must be from one of the outer provinces?
Yes, it was with one of the tribes in the outer provinces.
She kind of gives a little bow to you and a little bow to Arthur, and then she leaves the inn.
Now we follow closely behind. Have you got stealth music ready?
Alright. So, shortly after the mayor leaves, Natasha returns with the stale bread and some soup. And she looks at Arthur and she's like,
Are you sure you don't want to order anything, Arthur? It's on the house tonight.
as she looks around at the rowdy crowd.
I'm sure someone here will pay more than they need to.
No, it's quite alright. I've not much an appetite for tonight.
Suit yourself. And, of course, Hannah, you are always also welcome to work for your food, in case he doesn't pay you.
And she like gives Arthur that glance that's like, I saw that earlier, then leaves the table.
My character starts to eat the bread and looks at Arthur and says, man, the ladies in this town really like you.
I'm the Wizard of Oz.
Guys, this campaign is really called The Wizard of Oz.
He's the main character. He's just going around flirting with everyone. He's really Brock at
No!
this point.
This is really a harem story. I'm sorry we pulled you into listening to a harem.
Alright, so, I think it's more that they're familiar with me rather than they like me. I've been here for so long, it's as if I'm everyone's uncle. So, I believe it's more of a family view than anything else. What is time of day?
It's still pretty early in the day. It's not even evening. I wouldn't even say it's afternoon.
Okay. Then I'll follow her.
You're gonna head out to follow the mayor?
I will follow him. But he will know that I am following him.
I think he's okay with you following him.
So you both decide that you're gonna follow the mayor. And Hannah finishes up her soup. You begin to pick up your things, and just before you can really even leave your table, the crowd in the inn begins to get rowdier. There's shouting, some disputing, cups begin to fly, drinks, food, tables are turned, and a full-on fight breaks out between you and the door. I need you all to roll initiative. Hey, you've made it! You've listened to the whole episode. Thank you for joining us here at the Silent Bard Tavern, and for listening in to our very first episode we are titling The Newcomer for our very first campaign, The Phantoms of Talva. If you enjoyed the music, by the way, it is all original sound created by Sayer Roberts. You might find some of his contact information down in the show notes, but we just wanted to give him a shout out for doing such an awesome job and helping us out here. Thank you again, and we hope you join us next time on the next episode of the Silent Bard Tavern.